It depends on the scale of what we're asked to do.
Would you repeat the question?
What technologies or equipment do we use when we're helping to respond to domestic situations here in the country? Most of what we do on a year-in, year-out basis, it's not uncommon on a yearly basis for us to do 75 to 125 what we call state active duty missions. When the governor picks up the phone and calls and says, Arkansas National Guard, I need you to go do X. Last week with the snowstorm is a great example. About 7 o'clock at night, we get a call from the state police. Hey, I-30 is closed, and there are people stranded in their cars. We can't get to them. We need somebody to get there. We say, all right, how many are we talking about? Where are we supposed to take them when we get through with them? What do you want us to do? And in about 2 hours' time, we've got Humvees. Soldiers are coming into the armories, loading up in their Humvees and going out and driving up and down lines of stalled cars checking on people. Do you want to go to a warming center? Do you need food? Do you need water? How do we... Okay, they didn't want that. They wanted fuel. So we called back to the governor's office. Hey, they want fuel. How do we get them fuel? We're not equipped to provide fuel for civilian vehicles. We use different kinds of fuel in military vehicles, so that there's a process of working through that. So there, all that was needed was a vehicle that could move in icy conditions. When Katrina hit, the National Guard deployed to New Orleans. We deployed to New Orleans. Everyone thinks that was a federal response. There was absolutely nothing federal about the National Guard's response to Katrina. The Arkansas National Guard deployed to Katrina because the governor of Louisiana asked the governor of Arkansas to deploy his forces. And we went down there. And one of the missions that was executed was because of the conditions at Belle Chase Airport, which is a Navy air station or an old Navy air station there near New Orleans, there was no air traffic control mechanism. So we brought in an air traffic control team, established a tower, just like we're trained to do in a combat zone, and began conducting air movement operations or established that airhead at Belle Chase, which was the lifeline for New Orleans for the opening days of the response. That's where everything came in, and those were National Guardsmen down there doing that. One of the capabilities we have here in the state is the Civil Response Team, the 61st CST. They are a 22-man team that have some almost Star Wars-like capabilities to respond to any type of chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons threat. Now, they right after 9/11 occurred, if you'll remember, right on the tail of that, we had the anthrax powder in the mail. So they were busy running all over the state responding because they had the ability to come into your office, pick up that envelope full of white powder and tell you, is this baking soda or is this something serious? They have advanced abilities to respond, like if you have a hazardous materials tanker that's overturned on the interstate, they can respond and help identify and help advise civilian authorities on how to contain that, how to respond to it, how to deal with it. They can do testing, and they can go up into the level A suits so that they can enter hot zones, contaminated zones, bring back samples. They have very sophisticated both testing and reach back capability so that they can establish satellite communications on site and reach back to subject matter experts at UAMS, Department of Health, or other locations, and help get advice and help provide coordination to civilian authorities to respond to those type of events. For instance, there'll be those kinds of teams on duty at the Super Bowl next weekend. So that's a pretty significant capability that we bring to the state.